Welcome to Accounting on Excel with Amaka Ifeanyi. We'll be looking at the accounting aspect of this platform, and we want to look at source documents. Yesterday, I sent out the slides. I deemed it fit to follow it up with a clip for those that might not have gone through the slide. Now, looking at the topic source documents, source. That's the major source of our data we use in preparing our financial statement. And when you get it right from the source, I think it's easier. It's easier as you process your transaction. So we'll be looking through it so that you, as a business owner, as a professional, will have a better understanding of what this is. So we looked at source documents, the primary source documents. The major source document is the first step in an accounting system by which a transaction walks through its way to the financial statements. So this is the first thing you do in business. When somebody buys, you give person a receipt, you issue an invoice if it's a credit sale. So those documents are quite important because those are where you generate your data. Those are where you input your data into your system, into your Excel. So having an understanding of the primary source document you need to keep as a business owner, as a professional working in an organization, it's quite important. So here is a list of the major. We have the list of the major source documents a business ought to maintain among others. We have the sales invoice, the purchase invoice, credit notes, debit notes, and goods received notes. Now, for the sales invoice, a sales invoice, you issue it when you make a credit sale. It is not a receipt you issue. You issue receipt when the person is making payment. But when you're making a sales on credit, you issue a sales invoice. So it's a document a business you issue, and the invoice is a request that the customer have to pay what he owes. So the customer is buying on credit. So that invoice is showing that he has not paid. So you're telling him that you need to pay what you owe. So when you're making the entry on your system, on your Excel, this thing, you have to put the invoice number. So with the invoice number, we know that this is a transaction that has taken place, but payment is yet to be made. I'll just go to the template because yesterday someone gave a comment and said, okay, can we have a template of all this documents? So this is an invoice. This is a template of an invoice. At least with this, you have an idea on how to build yours. So yours might not be as complicated as this, but you should have your item column, description, quantity, unit price, and total, right? So the name of your company, your invoice number is quite essential, the date, customer ID if you so have, right? So who are you sending it to? You're billing it to, you understand the name, and then maybe the company, the person, the contact person, and the company, something like that. So these are things you should take into consideration when designing your invoice. And other comment or specification, that is maybe you're telling the customers to pay within this the discount he has if he pays before 30 days. If you have a 30 days policy for your invoices, all those things, then your tax rate, that's value added tax, put it into consideration too, because that's quite important for every business trading in Nigeria. So I deemed it fit to put this so that you have an idea of what an invoice looks like. Right. So let's go back to the slide we had before. So the invoice is a request, just as I said initially, it's a request for the customer to pay what he owes. So purchase invoice is also a document received when a business buys goods or service or credit. It's the same invoice. So let's say you are in business, you issue sales invoice, right? Your sales invoice will be serial because you are the one issuing it. But you make purchases, it's not going to be serial because somebody is giving it to you. So the invoice is primarily a demand for payment. So you don't necessarily, the invoice number may not necessarily be serial. So it's the same thing like this. It's the same thing like this. It's just that you are getting it from, you are making purchases now. So it's being given to you. But when you're selling, you give it out, right? So for you now, when you make purchases, the person selling to you gives you the same invoice. right? So that's why your purchase invoice might not be serial because you're buying from different people with different, you understand? But your sales invoice definitely will be serial because you are the one issuing, you're making sales. I believe you've gotten the gist there. So let's move ahead. Now, credit note is a document relating to return goods or refunds when a customer has been overcharged. It can be regarded as a negative invoice, right? When you see negative invoice, you're like, okay, reduce my invoice. Maybe I give you invoice of 100 naira. Then when an overcharge of 150. So sorry, let me come back. An invoice, I issued an invoice of 100 naira to my customer. So I now notice, okay, I overcharged the person, right? So I have to issue a credit note reducing that invoice. Maybe I overcharged the person instead of 80, I charge 100. So I'll give a negative invoice, which is a credit note of 20 naira. So not to say much, I think I gave a consideration. Let's consider this scenario for a better understanding. Amaka Enterprise sent out an invoice of 30 red lipstick to Joy Cosmetics. This is an assumption, please. That's why I have to just use the names here. The cashier accidentally typed in a total of 7,500 instead of 5,700. Now, Joy Cosmetic has been overcharged by what? 1,008. So instead of charging her, the cashier mistakenly put 7,500. We know such kind of errors, we do have it in our accounting process. So what action should Amaka, she is a seller, Amaka Enterprise is the one selling, right? What action should she take? She would definitely give out a credit note to Joy Cosmetic in order to correct the error of being overcharged on her invoice. The invoice was issued. Let's remember our invoice was issued with 7,500 instead of 5,700. Now, we then now notice that okay, there was an overcharge. We're supposed to charge her 5,700, but we charged her 7,500. So when it was discovered, Amaka was Enterprise had to send out a credit note. What that credit note is that it reduces her invoice amount, right? It reduces because it was 7,500 I was sent. So the credit note that will be sent now is 1,800, meaning that 7,000 minus 5,000 so that it will come to the actual amount that needs to be, right? I believe you get that. So let's just look at the template of a credit note. Now look at a credit note. You see, this is a credit note made against an invoice. So you make it against an invoice. This is the template of it. Your company, this is Amaka. So I'm sending it to Joy Cosmetics. So I have my credit note date, credit note number, then the reference, maybe the invoice. You can put it here, you can put, or maybe just write something, overcharge on something, something, just for detail purpose. So we put the description of the item, unit, quantity, um, you know, with the transaction that brought about this credit note. So this is a template you can work with to have an idea of what the credit note looks like. So that is what Amaka Enterprise will issue back to Joy Cosmetic in order to effect that uh, error that was made. So the second scenario is this: when Joy Cosmetic received the goods, it found out that 5 lipstick were not red according to Spain because she specified red, 30 red lipstick. So on receiving it, Joy Cosmetic noticed that 5 of it was not according to specification. So she was going to send back the 5 back to Amaka Enterprise. So assuming the cost of each of these lipstick is 190, because we sold it 570, 30 divided, so it's 190 naira. What action should Amaka Enterprise, what action should she take? Right? What action should she take? So Amaka Enterprise will send a credit note with a total sum of that amount, 915, because 5 did not meet specification. So she would now send it credit note of because Joy is returning the 5 because it doesn't meet specification. So I'll tell you what Joy will send back. There's a document Joy Cosmetic will send back. Then Amaka Enterprise will now reply with a credit note of the total sum of that 5 that didn't meet in order to reduce the invoice amount, right? So now, that's all you need to know on credit note. I think I've said a lot. So let's go to debit note, a document issued to a supplier, right? The first one is a document issued to a customer. Now, a document issued to a supplier as a means of formally replacing a credit note. I told you that Joy Cosmetic will issue a note to return back those 5 red lipstick that did not meet up to specification, right? So that document is what we call the debit note. So she's issuing it to Amaka Enterprise as a means of she's now requesting a credit note. This is what I found. This thing doesn't mean so I'm issuing a debit note. You understand? So using the scenario above, Joy Cosmetics will send back the 5 lipstick by using a debit note with a total sum of 950 to Amaka Enterprise in exchange for a credit note. And this is a debit note. This is a template of a debit note. So you see the company name, Joy Cosmetic, then to who? To Amaka Enterprise, right here. So comment, what is it? Just write what you are complaining about here, quantity, description, unit price, then send it to. So this is a simple format of a debit note you can work with, right? I just had to download this for better understanding. So that's what a debit note does. So in summary of the debit and credit note, the debit note reduces receivables in the book of Amaka Enterprise. Now, because the Joy Cosmetics sends that debit note is showing that reduce what you are expecting from me. You said I should pay 5,700. So reduce it by 5, that is 950, because this one did not meet the specification. While in the reply of the credit notes, that is using the credit note, that's the Amaka Enterprise replying to Joy Cosmetics with credit note, it reduces the payables in the book of Joy. So Joy Cosmetics is saying that, okay, I'm not supposed to pay 5,700 again. You understand? As I've gotten the credit note, so my balance is 5,700 minus 950. That's what I'm supposed to pay. So it reduces what the Amaka Enterprise is expecting, and also the debit note reduces what Amaka Enterprise is expecting in her book, and also reduces what Joy Cosmetics is expected to pay to Amaka Enterprise. I believe this has given us a better understanding. So let's just look at goods received notes. It's a document that records the receipt of goods, most commonly in a warehouse. So when the goods has been, you make purchases, the goods are delivered, it's received in the store or warehouse. So a goods received note is issued, and this is the template, goods received notes. So you see the supplier, who is the supplier, the date, the advice note number, order number. So you may not need most of this info, but there are some core information, especially the supplier, the date for we in this part of the country. So the goods, you list them, the size, the price, the order quantity delivered is necessary, so that you know that it's the exact quantity that was ordered that was delivered, and comments if it's okay, met specification or not. So received by the storekeeper, checked by who, and stuff you sign. And a copy goes to the account department, supplier copy, and store copy. So the supplier has its copy, finance and account department should have a copy, then the store keeps a copy for inward documentation. So that's what a goods received note does. So I believe this has really, really been of great benefits to us, for as many of us that weren't able to go through the notes. They believe this video lesson will do the work. Thank you for staying true in this lesson, and hope to see you in our next lesson. Bye.